ask you is, I don't wanna push you farther away, no, I don't wanna play no games. I just wanna call, see if we're okay, babe. All I wanna ask you is, are you down for love? Are you up for someone to be together, be together? Babe, I want your love. I'll be the one you trust. You're all that matters, all that matters. I got feelings about you. Oh yeah, butterflies every time I'm with you. Oh yeah. I don't wanna push you farther away, no, I don't wanna play no games. I just wanna call, see if we're okay, babe. All I wanna ask you is, I don't wanna push you farther away, no, I don't wanna play no games. I just wanna call, see if we're okay, babe. All I wanna ask you is, are you down for love? Are you up for someone to be together, be together? Babe, I want your love. I'll be the one you trust. You're all that matters, all that matters. Are you down for love? Are you up for someone to be together, be I wanna be Babe, I want your love, your love. I'll be the one you trust. You're all that matters, all that matters to me. Issues, I know I got issues. Hate you, then I miss you again. Selfish, I can be so selfish. Spend more time when meeting your friends. Please forgive my attitude. I want my cake and eat it too. But a little grace would be enough for me to prove that, baby, you the remedy. You're my mirror, I could finally see, bringing out the best in me. Yeah, I don't want no problems, but I know I got a lot of work to do. Baby, I'm not perfect, but I know I'm worth it. Working out my issues with you, with you. Crutches, I be holding crutches. Can't let go of any mistakes. Distant, sometimes I get distant. Stay away as long as it takes. Forgive my attitude. I need my cake and eat it too. But a little time will be enough for me to prove that, baby, you the remedy. You're my mirror, I could finally see, bringing out the best in me. Yeah, I don't want no problems, but I know I got a lot of work to do. Baby, I'm not perfect, but I know I'm worth it. Working out my issues with you, with you. My highs and my lows, it's part of being human. Can you weather the storm? I'm starting to believe you can, 'cause baby, you the remedy. You're my mirror, I could finally see, bringing out the best in me, yeah. I don't want these problems, I know I got a lot of work to do. Baby, I'm not perfect, but I know I'm worth it, working out my issues with you. I don't want us to go. No, I don't want us to go. Yeah, you could be my lifeline, you could be my sunshine. In a world so full of pain, can you make it go away? It used to be so sad that love was lost, but now it's here to stay. Yeah, I used to be uncomfortable, but look at me today. Never thought I'd find someone like you, someone to show the way. But now I know you're the answer to my prayer. You and me must be right. Something's in the air, I can feel it now. You and me must do something right. We can't get enough of us. You and me every night, aiming for the stars with the love so bright. You and me must do something right. Baby, I believe in us. I believe in you and me, you and me, you and me, you and me, yeah. I believe in you and me, you and me, you and me, you and me, yeah. I'm sorry for the burden, sorry I was hurting, but my scars are almost healed. Yeah, my scars are almost healed. Yeah, I'm feeling like a child now. Everything's alright now, and it's all because of you. You made the flower in me bloom. Used to be afraid of everything, but now there's no more fear. Yeah, I used to let nobody in and hide my face with tears. Always thought of you as someone who can love someone like me, but I was wrong. Baby, now I believe. You and me must be right. Something's in the air, I can feel it now. You and me must do something right. We can't get enough of us. You and me every night, aiming for the stars with the love so bright. You and me must do something right. Baby, I believe in us. I believe in you and me, you and me, you and me, you and me, yeah. I believe in you and me, you and me, you and me, you and me, yeah. You and me must be right. Something's in the air, I can feel it now. You and me must do something right. We can't get enough of us. You and me every night, aiming for the stars with the love so bright. You and me must do something right. Baby, I believe in us. I believe in you and me, you and me, you and me, you and me, yeah. I believe in you and me, you and me, you and me, you and me, yeah. You know it's creeping up on me. This frostbite gets deep into my blood.
not my fault. You've been lying, saying that I took away your peace.
Mic check 1 2.
By yourself, now you wanna blame me.
Welcome everybody to
like
another
you have
episode
no
of
options. I ain't
We got a conversation today, y'all.
No, I'm not the problem, man. That's on you. Yeah.
All the professors are here tonight, y'all.
Terrorizing me, yeah, I'm always wrong.
This is an issue that's happening across America, y'all.
Mind when you drop that bomb.
Things that your mother never taught you.
Yeah, you must be crazy. I've been thinking lately it's you. You stole your peace.
So glad you guys are here.
Me, but baby, it's you. Lying like a rat, but take your stuff back. Baby, it's you. Whatever, and I would never. Yeah. You've been flexing everywhere, girl. Look in the mirror, man. You so dirty. Yeah, you look so dirty. You were never worthy. Lately, it's you. You stole your peace, put it on me. But baby, it's you. Lying like a rat, but take your stuff back. Baby, it's you. Control the weather, then every day would rain on your parade. Shine, you can't change, yeah. If I was Father Time, then I would change the day. So I never saw your face.
Oh, I made it just in time. I had to get my drink. No, not alcohol. I didn't have to get my alcoholic drink. Not tonight, at least. Welcome, everybody. I appreciate you guys being here for another episode of Wife School. Let me close these windows down. I got all kind of stuff going on over here. Everybody, type salute in the chat. Make sure you type the word salute in the chat. That's all you got to do. If you want to enter into the contest, we give away a gift card at the end of every live show that I do. And all you have to do to enter into the contest is type the word salute. My system is listening for you or watching for you to type that, and then you'll be good to go. Students, welcome to class. You have entered the main lecture hall in the Department of Hard Knocks at Shannon Rawls University. Please have a seat, take out a pen and paper, and prepare to take notes. There's a lot to learn tonight. My name is Professor Shan, also known as Shannon, nooply known as Chocolate. And I'd like to introduce my esteemed colleagues of the night. We have a full house. I'm not even sure what button to push. Let me try this button. Yes. I don't think I'm missing nobody. Hold on, let me make sure I'm not missing out. I got everybody here.
Line name, for real?
No, that ain't my line name. That's my big brother name. I'm Big Brother Chocolate. Big Brother Chocolate. Give me my greedy. But they don't know nothing about that, Aisha. They don't know nothing about that, Tamiko. We can't explain it to them all. Only a couple of us know that. You know, it's not for everybody. Let me get these names up here on the screen. I got Professor Happy here. We have Professor Marvelette in the house, y'all. Everybody, give a warm round of applause to Professor Marvelette. This is her debut on the Shannon Rawls. She has a podcast herself, ladies and gentlemen. Marvelette has a podcast available on Apple Podcasts. If you guys want to just go and what's the name of it, Marvelette? I forget. No, you ain't gonna. Oh, why? You took it down?
Yeah.
Why'd you take it down?
Yeah, I deactivated it.
Oh, never mind, y'all. Never mind. So Marvelette, she's a virgin. Miss Celie, you still a virgin. Okay. Welcome, Marvelette, and we have Professor Happy in the house, and Professor Aisha, and Professor Cheryl, and Professor Tamiko, our YouTube veterans. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Wife School. I appreciate you guys. I see. What up, Lady Navoa? I see you, Bethany. Listen, what up, a gentleman's touch? You guys are not typing. Sheed, what up? I see you guys in the chat. Type salute. I need you guys to type salute. My system be telling you guys that in the chat, but y'all don't be doing it. And I'm not gonna remind you like I used to, because I be giving away money. And I'm not gonna just be begging y'all to take free money. So y'all better type salute in the chat so you can enter into the contest. The system runs automatically.
I'm gonna type it since I'm here anyways.
You better type salute. All you gotta do is type SALUTE and the system will listen to you. I appreciate you guys being here. This is Wife School. And I as I say every single episode, Wife School is a podcast that is giving young ladies and the hard-headed old ones the game and the information and the knowledge that they need to become successful wives. We have Husband School, where we give all the knowledge, game, and teachings to the young brothers and the hard-headed old dudes, the information they need so they can become successful husbands. But that's on Tuesday nights. Tonight is Wife School. And what we're doing is we're combating the argument that women want to be married but not be wives. There's a big argument right now. You know, there's what they say is somewhat of a gender war right now between men and women, and people are trying to get things together. And I need you to be more cooperative, and I need you to be more submissive, and I need you to be more of a leader, and you need to give me something to submit to, and all these different arguments back and forth. My goal is to get people together. I want people because that's what pure happiness is. Life is about relationships. Everything else, it comes secondary. Success, money, things, possessions. I have it all. None of it trumps relationships, you guys. And so if we could get our relationships together, then everything else will fall in line. And so for those young ladies here that's watching Wife School that are out there that do not have the tools, may not have had the mother to give them the information, or don't have a cousin, friend, or anybody that she could just sit down and talk to about issues when it comes to being a good wife, not just being married, but to becoming a good wife. We like to present those questions right here on the show and then discuss them so you can hear varying perspectives. Our panelists have been married. Our panelists have never been married. Our panelists have been married for over 10 years. Some of our panelists are newlyweds and just figuring stuff out. Some of us have children, some of us don't, you know. And this is a women's show, to be honest with you. Now, I get it. My show is more men-centric, but this is the women's show, and this panel is for the women, by the women. The reason why Chocolate or Shan is here is because all we do, the men, and Professor Sir Hale, he had to step out this evening, so we wasn't able to get him, but normally it's two men on the show to just give our perspective and to let the ladies know how men think when it comes to these questions that we have. And the same thing over at Husband School, where we have a panel of men, and we have two women up there giving men their perspective from the women's point of view. But nevertheless, it's men teaching men at husband school, and over here tonight, it's women teaching women. There's the intro. How you guys been? Everybody had a good week?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tamiko was in Chicago last week. Tamiko, what? So you traveled, Tamiko? What do you do?
Well,
We
I
missed
work
you
for a
last
cannabis
week.
company, but we had training in our Chicago headquarters. But I'm also from Chicago, so it was a dual trip, work, and then I got to be with my mom.
Wait. So you work for a cannabis company that has headquarters in Chicago, and you have to train for. You have what? Okay, what training? I'm ignorant, and I know a lot of people that learn because the cannabis thing. You see what Biden did today, right? Or he's getting ready to do. It's the big news.
What is that?
Oh, you didn't hear about it this afternoon?
The decriminalized federally, isn't it? Pardon everybody who's had minor possession.
He hasn't done it yet, but with the flick of a pen, he plans to, or what I understand, he's going to, at the flick of a wrist, pardon everybody who received any federal marijuana charges. It's about damn time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm the head of customer service, so I had to be there for it. It was like a retail training, so you have some interesting customers. There's medical patients, of course, and then there's the indirect users. So, that's the scope of my job.
Nice. Yeah, that's the big news that just came down today. I don't think it happened yet, but they're making it seem like it's going to happen. And that pardon essentially expunges or eliminates all past records. People that once couldn't get jobs and once had difficulty getting jobs and whatnot, just suddenly they don't even have to say. When you get a pardon, when you get a presidential pardon, you don't even have to say you were convicted. You could just be like, nope, never happened. You can be like, nope, never happened.
Now it would just be up to the states to hire these people at the dispensaries or make sure they go into the communities that was hit the hardest by it and make sure they get back. So
that's dope. Now, to back to what you were saying, you say you work for a cannabis company where you're doing training. Okay, I didn't know cannabis companies were that big, that they had, I mean, I know it's a lot of money in it, but I didn't know it was like multi-state organizational, corporate training type stuff. So that's dope. You said you're head of customer service. So do you on the Western region or the entire company?
For the whole nation.
Nice. That's what's up. All right. Well, good. Congratulations to you. How you doing, Cheryl?
Thank you.
She's representing. Is that Whitney Houston? Yeah, that's Whitney Houston.
Yes. I'm good. How are you? How are you, Shannon?
I'm wonderful. I'm glad you're here tonight. Hold on one second. Let me bring in my man, Chris. Chris is in the house. Hold on. Chris is going to give us. So I need to assign Chris slot 6, and then we're going to switch over to, it's now 7. Boom. Chris is in the house. What up, Chris? Glad to have you here, man. I had, when Professor Hale said he couldn't make it tonight, I was like, I ran over to my Ask a Black Man Anything crew and said, brother, I need your help, man. It's a full house of women, and I don't want to be in here by myself. I know how women can, I don't want to get in trouble with a panel full of beautiful women. So
I'm only here to see a couple of women.
Listen.
Only here to see a couple of them. I love Happy. Aisha is always my favorite because she's smiling. I've never met the other 3, so it's a pleasure to meet you all as acquaintance.
Nice. Likewise.
Ladies, listen, here's a question. Everybody watching the show, here's a question. Now, we touched on it over on Husband School on Tuesday, but I'm bringing it to the women now. Sex is important in a relationship. It is. Sex is extremely important. Children is extremely important in a relationship. Wealth, that new generational wealth, right? Wealth and how we're going to live and what's going to happen after retirement. If we get married, what are we going to do in our golden years is important. But what's one of the most important things for every human being is to eat. We all have to eat. Oh, well, what's the way to a man's heart? It's through his stomach. We've heard that a lot of times, right? But the argument now is that women don't cook like they used to. Now, let me give you a little bit of backstory just to lead us in. I am 50 years old. I was born in 1972. I grew up in a traditional household, nuclear family. My father, my mother, I've known them all my life. I still talk to my mother almost every day. My father just passed last year at age 79, rocked with him every day. And all I knew was a hot meal 7 nights a week. That's all I knew. I knew nothing else. I've never experienced nothing else. I didn't grow up in a fast food era. All I knew is that it was a hot meal to eat every night of the week, 7 nights, not 5, not weekdays and the weekend. No, it was 7 nights a week. And on occasion, we were able to go out and get some food, like fast food, pizza. That was almost a treat. My mother was a working woman. She worked for the county of Los Angeles for 26 years. But nevertheless, she made it happen when it came to feeding her children and her family. My father brought home the bacon. He did all the grocery shopping. I've never seen my mother in a grocery store. My father did all the grocery shopping. He did all of that, right? And so with that said, I have a question, ladies. And this is the question that a lot of people are asking. In 2022, it's not so much the same as it was in, let's say, 1982 when I was 10 years old. Right now, still today, husbands need to eat. But can you ladies tell me, why is it such a problem with modern women when it comes to cooking? I'm single. I'm twice married, twice divorced. When I got married, I had this thought that I would get 7 cooked meals like I did when I was growing up. Aisha knows my mother. So she knows that how important that kitchen is. I want to know, I expected to get married and have them 7 cooked meals continue until I die. It didn't happen. Now that I'm single and I'm dating again, let me tell you something. I have one of the flyest kitchens you've ever seen, right? Nobody I've dated came in here and busted a dish of any kind. In my dating experience, it's where are we going to eat tonight? What restaurant are we eating tonight? What are we gonna DoorDash? What are we ordering? What are we Postmating? Where are we going to grab something to eat? Can we do a takeout? I do not experience cooking, home cooking, the way I did when I was a child. Ladies, when you talk to young women, nobody's cooking today. Now I get it. It's new. It's 2022. We got smartphones and we got Uber Eats, and we could just order something and it'll come to the door, pay the extra $10 in delivery fees, and we're good to go. But men want to eat, and women don't want to cook, it seems. I'd like to hear your perspectives, ladies, as to why women don't cook the way they used to anymore. Professor Happy, you were here Tuesday, and we had this conversation, but now I want to hear it from a different perspective. I want to hear it as to why the young ladies
for you, because I wasn't prepared on Tuesday, but today I'm prepared. I don't know. Y'all want me to jump in first? Because I can.
Yeah, I want to hear your perspective.
Okay, here we go. Boom. So, well, first let me start with what I said on Tuesday, because it still is relevant. I wasn't as prepared, but it still is relevant. And I brought up, oh, hey, we got a new person added to the family. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, Professor Daryl's in the house.
Daryl, I knew that was your name, but he put DB on there, and I didn't want to get it wrong.
I fixed it.
Good to see you, Professor Daryl. What I wanted to say was this. Because this is wife school, we are trying to prepare young women, or women in general, to be wives. And I work with a life coach, right? There are 4 pillars that we kind of organize our life into. Health and well-being is literally the first pillar. And I bring this up because without your health and well-being, that nothing else is happening. Nothing else is happening. Everything else falls to the wayside without your health and well-being. Why is that important with cooking? Well, as you get older, because we all get older, we all getting older, y'all. As you get older, you understand the importance of nutrition in your health and well-being. And so I do believe that it is important for a woman that is looking to be a wife to understand that the health and well-being of her family a lot of times is going to fall on her. Um, and that's just because of the way that we're wired as women, number one. Number two is just our ability to do it. Anybody can do it. If a man is single, he has to take care of his own health and well-being. If we are in a partnership, I'm going to be looking after the whole family, the whole family's health and well-being needs. And one of the biggest things in America specifically is our diets. America is not created to sustain healthy diets. So you have to, as a woman, especially in our community, as a melanated person, as a person of the diaspora, as a Black person, we have to be responsible for our diets. And the best way to do that is to cook. We can't be eating processed food every day. We cannot expect that our family should eat processed food every day. And the reason being is all of these diseases, illness starts with your diet, people. It really, truly does. And so if you want a healthy family, if you want to avoid the illness that your family may face in the future, if you want to diminish the possibility of your family getting sick, spending less time in the hospital, be responsible, take responsibility for your family's health and well-being. And you may not, that doesn't necessarily mean you may need to cook every day. However, eat every day healthily. And I think that I'm gonna end with that for right at this moment. But I really wanted to bring up the importance of, because this is wife school, it's important that we as women that want to be wives or are wives, we take our family's health and well-being into consideration. It needs to be important to you. It needs to be something that is on the forefront of your mind. And diet is so important in health and well-being that if you want to be a wife, if you want to be successful in any area of life, not just your relationship. If you want to be successful at work, if you want to have energy in the morning when you wake up to give your day, if you want to have energy for your children, if you want to have energy to do anything else, it starts with your diet. Your diet is important. As a woman, as a person that lives in a house with other people, you should be paying attention to what they eat. And the best way to do it is to provide the diet. So that's my thought on that.
Now, Marvelette, you're a chef. You're a chef. You're a professional chef. You even have a catering company.
I do.
Marvelette, what's going on in modern days that women aren't, the young women particularly, aren't cooking anymore? What's up with the fast food era?
I think it goes a little bit further than the fast food era. I think it comes to a point where cooking or being in the kitchen or being in the home and making the home is seen more as a domestic job, and modern women don't want to be related or be considered in that category.
Oh, the optics. So you think so? Wait. So are you telling me it's the optics of it that women are having concerns with? It's not so much the labor of it. They feel like they're slaves or something.
In my opinion, yes. In my opinion, for me, it's completely different. Not just because I am a chef, but it's because how I was raised. So I was raised by my grandmother. So I was raised to be a wife. So, and I was married. So in my marriage of 10 years, I did cook 3 meals a day for my kids. So my husband at the time, he didn't come home until 10 o'clock at night. And he had a preference to where he liked his food fresh. So I would get up at 9 after cleaning up the kitchen and cooking for the kids and putting the kids to bed and having another meal ready for him.
Oh God, I see Professor Aisha's face.
That's beautiful, girl. Because you said get up. What? After the kitchen was clean too? But I've seen your food though, too.
But that's
so I know.
That's what type of wife I chose to be to my husband. That's what I wanted to be. So it all goes back to how you're raised, join in with nowadays mentality, And a lot of young women right now would rather go out and say, oh, my husband, always takes me here, or we do this. They rather have memories of events outside of the household.
Okay. Professor Tamiko, do you cook?
I do. So I'm the single one, never married, no kids. But I was raised by my grandmother in the house with my mom, no father or husband around. So my mother, wasn't married at the time. But I watched my grandmother cook. So I loved it, and I love to cook now. That is one of the things, if I am to get in another relationship, like that's something that I know that I'm good at. So that's something that I would bring to the table. So I don't understand. Then again, going back to what the last professor just said, it's how you were raised. So maybe this younger generation, they're used to going out eating fast food, and I guess they don't know how to cook. Let's start there. They probably just don't know how. They didn't see anyone doing it, so they don't know how. And then for me, again, as we get older, I've suffered with fibroids, so I had to change my diet and eating processed food, like Professor Happy said, like it's a no-no. So, if I'm going to be with someone, I want to be healthy and I want them to be healthy as well. So I would totally cook. And so these young ones, if you want a healthy relationship and be around for a long time, learn to cook. Learn to cook.
Okay. I got some pushback for y'all. I hear what y'all saying, but I got some stuff for y'all, and I got my man Chris and Daryl here to back me up in case y'all come for me. Professor Cheryl, how big is your tribe? How big is your family?
Altogether with everyone, just in the house or outside of the house too.
At its peak moment, at whatever year it was, at the highest peak moment.
Well, there's a total. Let me see. I'm trying to remember who was in the house when the youngest ones were born. I want to say probably 6.
6. So 4 children, 2 adults.
Yeah.
Okay. 6 people had to eat every day. How did you make that happen?
I believe at that time I'd already quit my job, so I think I was home, and I was cooking. I cooked kids, cooked every day for the most part. There were probably
what does that mean for the most part? Some days you was like, I'm tired.
It could be, or if I had play or something going on. Just depends on what was happening. We were also like in football and all different types of sports and stuff. So it just depends on what the daily activities were.
How many daughters do you have?
Now I have 3.
How many know how to cook?
Izzy cooks very well. The other 2 are 8 and 10.
So they don't cook. Izzy, is she excited to cook, or does she do it out of necessity?
She loves to cook. She cooks all the time. She cooks for me. She cooks for everybody. She loves to cook.
Is that something that you think was baked in the cake? It was just naturally born affinity of cooking, or did you kind of push her to be that way?
No, I want to say that she likes to eat. So she likes to eat. She's creative. So that's just, she's a very creative person to begin with. So that's just one of her expressions is cooking.
Got it. All right. Professor Aisha, it's just you and your husband right now. It's just you and your husband. And you're not too far removed from college. Not that far. Not as far as me. So as far as anything younger than me.
It's been a little while, but
And we in LA. We could eat. It's something on every corner. And if they not open, go to 7-Eleven.
True. Okay, so I have mixed emotions about this.
Will we expect anything else, ladies and gentlemen?
No, y'all wouldn't. Come on now, y'all already know. I feel a little indifferent. I don't know. Okay, so one thing I will say is I definitely agree with the ladies that is definitely how you're raised. So, you know, women coming up, if you're not used to having home cooked meals every night, if your mom wasn't a kitchen person or you didn't grow up with your grandma, and maybe you kind of you're learning how to make your own way, like that's okay too. I think learning how to cook is an essential skill for everyone. I think it's important to know how to feed yourself. I think that it's important to be able to, like what Professor Happy was saying, really take care of the health and well-being of your family and the future of your family, right? But a home cooked meal every night, a hot meal every night,
7
baby, you can
nights.
get that. A
7.
hot meal, but like a hot cooked fresh meal, that's not gonna happen. We're not doing that. It's not like, but is it
No,
gonna be
not a
hot,
TV
brought
dinner,
to you
and
on your
not some
plate
shit that you
wherever
heat,
you're
not
at?
some heated up shit.
I'm gonna serve you, my king. But am I cooking it fresh tonight? Baby, no. We cooked that chicken the other night. You're getting that. With some of this rice and the fresh salad I made. You feel me? Like, because we got to get all the food groups here. But did I cook it fresh tonight? No. Like, and I think I don't necessarily consider myself a modern woman. You know what I mean? I think I have modern tendencies in the world that we live in, but I also feel like I have traditional tendencies because I've learned a lot from both of my parents, and, you know, they both played a huge role. Like, I love my dad to death. So I see men and things a little bit differently because of his teachings.
We call those chameleons.
You said what?
Some call them chameleons. Others
Chameleons.
call it hybrids. Yeah. You put on the skin you need for the situation you want.
And so I think another thing, what I should be like, I should be completely honest with you guys. We have different dietary preferences inside of my house. My husband is not from here. My husband can eat things that I cannot eat. I cannot eat beefs and chickens and things like that. And so I'm not all that great at making some of the stuff. Now, I can whip you up some stuff, but it may not be everything. Like, you're not getting the roast. Okay. It's going to take me YouTube and some time if you want the roast.
Get a cookbook. Right.
It's going to take a little time. I'm like,
do women have cookbooks?
It might be off the first couple of times, okay?
Professor Aisha, real quick, sidebar, Professor Aisha, do you own a cookbook?
I do. I own a few
Professor
cookbooks.
Happy, do you own a cookbook? Professor Marvelette, you're
Yeah,
a chef. I don't have to ask you.
I'm a book person. I got a bookshelf full of cookbooks.
Professor Tamiko, do you own a cookbook? You're on mute, Professor Tamiko.
Sorry. Yes, I do. And I also had started my own cookbook so I can come up with my own recipes and then saving my grandma's recipes and stuff. So yes.
Yeah,
okay. Professor Cheryl, do you own a published cookbook?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Gentlemen, let me ask you something. Let me be clear. In the dating phase, that needs to be one of your questions. When you're meeting the new woman, ask her,
hey, does she use the cookbook? Too,
I know that's baby steps, ladies. Baby steps. Baby steps. I just want to know that you own one. As long as you own one, whether you bought it at Barnes & Noble yourself or whether it was hand-me-down from your mother or grandmother. As long as you own one. Fantastic. But go ahead and finish cooking, Professor Aisha. What were you saying?
Yeah, no. So what I was going to say is because we have different, dietary preferences, and I'm not from his home country. So there are things that I haven't quite learned how to cook. So if it comes down to do I cook or do we eat out, I cook. I cook as often as possible. I stay inside of the home. I make fresh foods. I make whole foods. I make good foods. And whether I warm it up, 2 days later, I still made it. It was still handmade at some point. So that's kind of, my it's still made, y'all. Okay.
It's just hybrid, modern.
So I'm still learning how to do some stuff where he's like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and get in the kitchen and knock this out. And I can cook for you tonight every once in a while, but that's not.
Professor Aisha, when is the last time you cooked a meal in the kitchen?
When was the last time I cooked a meal in the kitchen? Last night.
You cooked what did you make last night?
Last night I made, let me see, I made like some fish last night. I didn't cook for him because he had some chicken already. We had some stewed chicken.
Okay, let me
You just asked me
rephrase the
when the
question.
last time I cooked in my kitchen.
Okay, I got
Listen,
you.
I was just answering the question.
You right. You a wordsmith just like your big cuz. Okay. When is the last time you cooked a meal that your husband that you said, baby, food is ready, and he came in and he sat down and ate your food?
Oh, like not a dinner meal, but this afternoon. Oh yeah, I cooked this afternoon. I made us like lunch. I made a hot, fresh lunch, everything. Like cooked up some vegetables and other things. Made sure he ate because we hadn't eaten breakfast, and I wanted to make sure he ate because the day was getting by. So,
ladies,
like midday meals, I'm more likely to cook you breakfast every day than I am to cook you dinner every day. That's just kind of being honest.
Okay.
But I'm gonna make something for you during the day.
Now we're going to talk about the working woman, the modern day working woman. But I want to talk to my brothers here, Professor Chris and Professor Daryl. Professor Daryl, all three of us were married at one point. What was your experience with kitchen, Professor Chris, and then go to Daryl?
My experience was unique. I got married at 22. My ex-wife was a junior at Spelman, Daryl Morehouse. Happy homecoming HBCU season. She was a junior at Spelman, and I was already finished with school. So she was also pregnant, so she didn't cook during like her last trimester. So we got married in her second trimester. But then when she had our second baby and we had a home, so I put her in a home. We lived in an apartment and I bought a home.
Wait. So what did you eat? Wait. What did you eat before you had to eat?
Well, it was like it was kind of like we cooked in tandem. Like it was a tag team.
No, go back to Morehouse. No, go back to Spelman. Go back to before the second baby. Go back to when she was pregnant. What did y'all eat then?
God, dog, that's a really good question. You're asking me to go back 25 years. So,
the answer was fast food. Listen, that's fast food.
20 years ago.
If you fast food,
I can't even tell you what I had last Tuesday for lunch. So.
If it was difficult because she was having midterms and she was studying and she was pregnant and you just was
food. Spelman and more, they got that good cafeteria food. Y'all was eating good. Y'all was eating good, straight up. Y'all was eating good.
It ain't the Cal State University food. No seasoning in the dormitories at Cal State Long Beach.
You get the food, you put your own seasoning on that food. Y'all was doing just fine.
In 2002.
Dog. What were you eating? How were you eating?
I can't even tell you that I remember. Who cooked.
Okay, so then you guys got together when you got your first home. Tell me, Chris. Now I know you know this. When you got your first home, remember that first kitchen that you and her shared when you guys got the keys and you signed escrow?
2004.
Okay, how did the nightly food go then?
2004. Let me think where I was working at in 2004. 2004. We were working about 6 miles apart. We had 2 kids, so brand new married, 2 kids, a brand new house. We split the duties. I didn't mind cooking. But here's where I want to bring in the caveat.
You got a working wife.
Right. Fast forward 5 years later, after we've been married we have been married 2005, so marriage went to 2008. So we have been married for 5 years at this point. She gets pregnant. Now, she said she was sick. I'm using air quotes, right? Mm-hmm. Only because my running joke with my ex-wife when we were married is like she was like Melman the giraffe. If you've ever seen Madagascar, whenever Melman got around the doctors, he immediately started to feel better, and all the sickness went away. So that's that was our running joke. So she says she was sick. She had never been sick with any of our 2 previous kids, and so I took over cooking duties from 2007, and I've been cooking since. We got divorced in 2015. She barely cooks. Wouldn't do breakfast on Saturday, would fuss. Literally argue because I wouldn't tell her what I wanted to eat for breakfast. I'm just like, I cook 4 or 5 times. You just go to the kitchen. I don't care what you cook. Just go cook. And that was 1 out of 7 days. So,
and this is towards the end. This is towards the end.
No, this is from 2007 to 2015. We didn't get divorced until 2016. We didn't get divorced until 2017.
So for 8 years, you had trouble with your wife cooking 1 meal a week?
Yeah. We would argue about it. I mean, we argued about everything, so,
Huh.
So,
see, the thing is, that's one of the biggest arguments, and that's the biggest problem that a lot of men have. They date one version of a woman. They're dating, in the dating phase, and this is what we call, what everybody say, you showed your representative, and then once you got me, you fired her. And now all of a sudden, now your real person comes out. I wish I'd have known this about you prior. Or men like me don't know how to pay attention to red flags. They showed that shit to you during dating, but you were so inundated with, enamored with something else that you ignored the shit that you should have paid attention to. You got married, and then all of a sudden, that shit that you paid attention to goes away. Now the real person shows up in your eyes, even though they were always there. So, but here in your situation, this is somebody that switched up on you.
Yeah, but I don't really talk about it that way. I'll just say it this way. If you look at my phone now, we recently had on our Ask a Black Man Anything show, we talked about a guest. I'll say it that way. So if y'all want to try to go figure it out and be super sleuths, young lady asked me what are my favorite meals via text. I can show you the text message. So which alludes to the fact that she likes to cook. She actually likes to meal prep. Which I'm perfectly fine with, right? I'm, throughout my day, I kind of eat however I want. I cook. I look forward to not cooking when I get married. Yeah, y'all prepare for that, Daryl and Shan, because.
Well, Chris, let me ask you this: if your wife switched up on you, that's just I don't know what else to say. What did you switch up on? Let's have a quick accountability session real quick. Your wife, you argue with her over cooking. She didn't want to cook one night a week. Yeah, but then what did you stop doing that you was doing that you previously did?
So when she met me, I was working 3 jobs. I was at RA in college. Mm-hmm. I was working at the convenience store in the dormitory. We stayed in a high rise, and there was a convenience store downstairs. And I was also the mailman. Now, the mailman I didn't get paid for. I just distributed the mail. But when she met me, I was working 3 jobs, right? According to her. When we got married, I'm working 1 job, and that 1 job is the provision. And I'm trying to start my other businesses, right? So fast forward, if you were to ask her, she would say that my vision didn't come to pass. But the thing is, it's not that it didn't come to pass. It just didn't come to pass as fast as she wanted it to, or as fast as I had thought it would come to pass. When I lost my job, I went and started the business that I have today. I thought back then I would be able to have a 6-figure business, but lo and behold, I didn't realize that it wouldn't come to fruition until 8 years later. So, sometimes. So
basically, you were making price. So you was like, baby, this is what I'm doing. This is gonna blow. Look, we gonna be this. We gonna have this. And she's like, all right, I'm with you. I'm supporting you. I'm behind you. And then year after year, she's checking the clock. Like, okay.
Right. So, if this didn't work and here's the thing, my mentor told us, some things are going to work, some things are not going to work, but you just have to keep putting in action. He says that action is the great multiplier to putting in work, because you can do something, but you can do something once, right, and get no result. But if you can have continued action over time, he said that will help you yield greater results. And he said that's what you've been doing. You've been doing the multiplier, and that's why you've gotten to where you've gotten. So, yeah, I mean, it's fine. I'm not really mad that you're gone, because I received the better half of that divorce. So,
Got it. Professor Daryl, I know you like to eat.
Yes, sir.
Professor Daryl be on the barbecue.
So,
how did it go, Professor Daryl? Break it down for us.
So I got married young, 23 years old. Was divorced by 26.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, it was that quick. And, military life, you know how it is, Shan. When both of you are actually in the service, it provides its own burden. However, any woman that I date, get involved with, marry, cook, not going to be a hard thing to do because I love to cook. I know how to cook. I can burn. So I ain't going to starve. My weight fluctuates from 275 to 245 on any given two-month period. So I could go up and down. The problem I had with my ex is that when you start a good thing, you got to continue that. And I'm not. It doesn't have to be a forceful thing. But communication is key. You asked Chris what fell off with him. I think communication. We're talking to and never understanding each other. So we really didn't have any set rules for cooking. Whoever got to the kitchen first, we did it. Now, the older man, listen, I'm looking for that woman we can get in the kitchen and we can burn. If we want to do plant-based, we go from plant-based to lasagna. If we wanted to do that way. I think what happens is, like you said about the representative, everybody wants to impress each other in the beginning. I say if you don't plan on maintaining, don't start it. Any woman that's in my world, it's not a requisite for you to know how to cook, but hopefully down the line you can learn how to cook. Because it might be a day that I don't feel like cooking or I can't cook. Like, what happened to me last year, it kind of knocked me out the box because I couldn't use one side of my body. So trying to cook with one arm is kind of crazy. But with that being said, I think one of the professors, the women had said something about fibroids and all that stuff. I wanted to not miss that in translation because I think cooking for health instead of cooking because it tastes good is what we should be doing. Cooking for health. And I pose this question as I close. How many white women do you hear have fibroids?
Not many.
We don't know their numbers. But I know a whole lot of black women that do.
That's what I'm trying to say. Because we weren't reared to eat healthy. We were reared because the food tastes good. Both of my parents came from the South. My father could burn
mogs, chitlins.
Yeah, all that. If it's not in the flavor, if it's not in your green beans and all that stuff, why cook it? When I cook for my mom now, she's like, "What are you doing? Where's the fat and all that stuff?" Nah, that's what is killing us. But you got to look at their generation and look at it from the perspective they didn't have all of the additives and preservatives that's in the food now. So they went out and killed their own hogs and cut up their own bacon and all that stuff and cooked. So we're the generation, and we've spawned a generation that really don't want to cook because it's so available anywhere you go. Like you said, go to 7-Eleven when everything is closed. You can go to 7-Eleven. Why cook when I can just buy it? I think that's the mentality, and that's why I'll leave it at.
Okay, well, I do want to touch on one thing before we close out, because we got to give the young lady some game. But I want to talk about the working woman. I want to talk about the difference between today and yesteryear, the type of woman that is being reared today versus the type of woman that was raised, let's say, in the 70s. Before we do that, I want you guys to watch this video. Everybody pay attention to this video.
You mean to tell me I just pulled a 13-hour shift and I ain't got no food to come home to? Huh?
Why you didn't get something on your way home? Why you always recording for your raggedy cousin?
Look, I just pulled a 13-hour shift. You being my wife, I pay all the bills in here.
All the dishes clean, your clothes clean. Why? What?
You don't fix me no lunch for my job. You eat. You work from home.
Okay,
I can't come home to a full course meal.
This is leftover that I had from last night.
But I'm saying I can't come home to a full course meal. What we married for? What we married for?
I'm not your mama. I'm your wife.
Bruh.
Dishes clean, your clothes clean. You always got to clean clothes when you go to work, don't you? Can you stop recording me?
I can't come home to a full course meal. Working all these long goddamn hours, I can't come home to a full course meal. Huh? I just knew I was gonna come home and have some food on the goddamn stove.
Cause listen, the delivery is
You
off.
playing, man. You playing. You
Okay.
playing. Well, you playing. What the hell we get married for?
Oh boy.
You been doing
A lot of
like
different
2 or 3
reasons.
months, man. What is it? I can't get no food when I come to the house.
Did he ask for the food?
Wait. So you mean to tell me when y'all are raising y'all voice, when y'all delivery is wrong, we should just we should not comply? Is that what you're saying?
No. What we're saying is you can get so much
no
more
one
done.
said that.
You can get more
Don't do
flies
that.
with honey than with vinegar.
Hey, wait, man.
It's so many
I'm just
things
saying
that was
because
wrong in
women's
that
delivery
video.
is way wronger than men's most of the time. So,
But I do feel that
Chris,
way. I feel
Professor
like
Chris,
when my
we
delivery
wrong.
is wrong, my husband
We gonna be
can
wrong
let me know,
no matter how you
hey,
slice it, Professor Chris.
Yeah.
oh, I know.
If he'd have said it real nice, they'd have found something else for him to be wrong about. Trust me.
There's
That was
nothing
just
wrong with
nice
him
on camera.
expressing his frustration.
Of the reaction to the video, though, that was like secondary. How he came was kind of secondary. I did want to know if he told her, like, hey, I'm about to do this 13 hours. Please, I really want a meal when I get home.
Shannon gonna tell you he shouldn't
Why
have
he
to
gotta
say
tell you to
nothing.
cook? You gonna eat anyway.
Shannon gonna
Yeah,
say you
he
shouldn't have
did
to
that,
say
and then he
nothing.
came home and she was eating some hot pizza. I mean, cold pizza.
Wait.
That frustration came from deeper than, in my opinion.
It
Yeah,
did.
So you mean to tell me that I have to tell you that I'm gonna work?
No.
And you can't
Pizza.
eat anyways? You can't set aside a portion?
He was not expecting the
No,
meal.
they're back.
He was
Fine.
not expecting the meal. He knew
He had
married,
to ask.
and he was hoping
And that's
on
why
this
men
one
cheat.
particular day that he came home that
He
she did
was.
this for him, and he blew up because that was the
He
the
blew
straw.
up?
He knew who he married.
Yeah, we need
You
to
saying
know
that's
the
a blow up?
backstory.
No, I'm saying that he has not been coming home to me.
That's what
Backstory
she's saying.
But
That
see,
is the point. He
That's
blew
not-
up.
He
Let
said
me-
in the
let me-
video,
let
I
me
just
point
knew
this out.
I was going to come
I'm
home to a
having
hot
time
meal.
about the conversation. The whole time he was asking her about the meal, she was chomping down. She never stopped doing what she was doing. And it, to me, it came off kind of real disrespectful, real grimy.
Why you didn't stop at your cousin's house?
Wait,
was the wrong
and add on to
response.
that, DB, he has to have a pleasant tone when he's expressing his frustration. You gotta be kidding. He's frustrated. He's been working all day and the man hungry and he's frustrated. Look,
Yeah, he's frustrated, but the point is, where was the communication and the
At the
expectation?
5-minute mark, she just turned around and said, "Huh? Like you want something to eat here?"
Well, hold on, fellas. I want to hear what Professor Cheryl said. Okay, so Professor Cheryl, break it down to us concisely.
I just said, where was the communication? Like, there can be, for instance, she said specifically, the dishes are done, the house is clean, your clothes are clean. So their priorities are different. She's viewing things as you came home to a clean house. You have clean clothes when you go to work. His priority is, I want a home cooked meal. So it's kind of like there needs to be some kind of communication as far as what it is their expectations are. What is his love language? Maybe if I come home to a home cooked meal, I feel like you love me. Her love language may be, I like a clean house. I like, everything to be in order. Your clothes are clean and folded and put away. Like they don't have a good
Professor Shannon
understanding.
gonna say he wanted all of the above. He wants all of the above.
He wants clean house, clean clothes.
That's what Shannon gonna say. Look at him.
At the same point, she's working.
But here's the thing:
she's working at
if you're going to eat, why not just set a portion?
Hold on, Chris. Let her land. Let her land, Chris. Go ahead. Finish, Professor Cheryl.
Working at home too does not mean that it doesn't necessarily mean that she can just get up and prepare a full meal. Like at any, she could have been working for 7, 8, 9, 10 hours herself.
Boy,
her delivery was still wrong too.
The sisterhood is tight.
I said delivery was wrong. I didn't say on who's in.
Fellas, we need to get on board with each other. We need to have each other's back, like women have each other's back.
Oh, y'all do. That's the problem.
Fellas, we need to have each other's back, like women got each other's back.
Do is have another man back.
But Shannon, like,
let me ask you a question.
We don't. What did she cook for dinner? We don't know what time she got up. She stopped working. She's working from home. Clearly, she looked like she was snacking on something. It didn't look like a full meal.
She's eating the pizza that she had from she said it. She said, I had this from night before.
So, I mean, she probably didn't even have time to cook for herself. Now, I mean, I would agree. If she had sat down and made a meal, she should have made a meal for him and have it ready. But if she didn't even cook for herself, we don't even know if there's kids or anything else involved.
She had 13 hours at least.
They should communicate.
I guarantee you that woman ain't no executive. I guarantee you she ain't the national fucking customer service
maybe on his lunch break
manager.
He could have said, "I'm gonna be home at this time, and what we eating for dinner, or what can you have ready?"
I know what you're saying.
Communicate that I want you to make me something to eat.
Yes, regardless. But what
I gotta tell my wife that I need to eat.
There has to be communication.
Eats every day.
There has to be
communication. She was clearly not ready for this whole interaction, right? It wasn't like he came home eating on this pizza and she was like, "Oops, my bad, I didn't get the dinner ready yet." No, she had no idea he was finna come in here. We've been married for how long? I work at home.
She had no intention of doing it.
At me, and you ain't even asked me to do this. That's
okay.
The communication piece.
So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen.
If there is not a standard that is already established, you cannot just expect for somebody to read your mind and to know that, today, I work 13 hours. He probably worked 13 hours all the time. And he probably never came home to a home cooked meal. At some point, you have to sit her down and say, "Hey, babe,
and you think that he hadn't done it?
I believe that's happened.
Yes.
Like here's this. Okay, that's the women's side of it.
Chris.
Now listen, please,
ladies. Let Chris cook. I want to hear Chris.
That's fine. I hear the woman's side of it, right? Here's the man's side. Hey, babe, day one of me working 13 hours. Hey, babe, are we gonna eat tonight? Right? That's day one, right? A week later, still no food. I've been working 13 days, 13 hours, 4 or 5 days a week. man, babe, I know we talked earlier, this week, you want to cook. I know you're working. It'd be nice, right? Nice if you made something to eat. I had a home cooked meal. A man is not going to come in the door and be frustrated at the level he's frustrated to record and make an example of it, then
on the first
post
time.
it. The level of frustration he has to get get there has to be, I've said it enough. I'm over it. I'm done with it, and I have to make an example. I am
How y'all can't
furious.
see that?
I'm furious, but I'm controlling my anger. I'm not finished. Hold on. Let me land, Happy. I'm controlling my anger. I'm controlling my frustration. Honey, I've been working these 13 hours. I'm hungry. I come home every day and say I'm hungry.
Why you don't stop and get you something?
Just have something to eat. And here's the thing. And I'm going to be honest with you. So I'm going to share this with you and be very transparent. In the first month of my marriage, I used to ask my wife, first 2 years, I used to ask my ex-wife, if I can't get sex from you, where should I get it from? And I'm using that with him with food, right? If I don't get a meal from you, where should he get his meal from? I used to ask my
ex-wife. Food place on the way home now. Come on now. That's the answer.
I'm not finished. Aisha, let me land here, right? Y'all let me listen to y'all, right? So if I'm going to be healthy, right, because I'm working long hours, okay, well, I work long hours and then I go to fast food, then I die early. Now you don't have a man. Now you you crying, and now the cycle continues, right? But why not put some lettuce and some tomatoes and some chicken and grill some chicken, and that's a meal? Like, it's that I'm playing. Okay, I'm done.
All right, wait, real quick, because I
understand.
Have to say this. I have to say it. I'm gonna throw it back to because this is a women's show. This is women's teaching women. And I have to say, I'm just a little thoroughly upset that I haven't heard not a single woman put any accountability on that woman. I want to play the video again because I got something from Justina. I
think we haven't given everybody a chance because I feel like Professor Marvelette did side with the man on this. It said that came from a place of frustration. Where she said that.
Okay.
He said where he had been.
Let's watch it again let's watch it with a fresh pair of eyes. Let's watch it with a fresh pair of eyes.
Was right. Hold on. Before we watch it with a fresh pair of eyes, can I say something?
Yeah.
No one said that this woman was right.
No one said this woman was wrong.
Before anyone said anything,
all I heard was excuses. Why are you talking to her like that? If that's the first thing that comes to mind, I'm thoroughly upset. That's
the first thing I hear is tone and delivery.
The first thing that came to mind,
I heard her tone, her delivery, her negative response, all of that. I heard all of that, and I said, "Ooh, the delivery is off on them."
I will watch the replay. I am not above reproach. I just know what I'm hearing, and I'm thinking to myself,
y'all had already took her side. Well,
that's because
Shannon, you guys spend too many minutes on food outside. That's why you hear negative
I don't know,
stuff.
and maybe this is where men and women hear things differently. We listen to what y'all are saying, right?
We
now,
never.
Maybe y'all
Chris
feel,
was the very
maybe you
first
feel
person that
differently
spoke when the video finished. Chris was the very first person. Not one person said anything before Chris. So that is just not true.
No, still ain't heard what Professor Marvelette said.
Let me just listen. Here we go.
You mean to tell me
Nico want to say something.
I just pulled a 13-hour shift.
Pay attention to everything.
And I ain't got no food to come home to? Huh?
Back turn.
Why y'all was recording for your raggedy cousin?
Raggedy cousin.
Look, I just pulled a 13-hour shift.
He made her mad.
You being my wife, I pay all the bills in here.
All the dishes clean, your clothes clean. Wait, what?
You don't fix me no lunch for my job.
All the bills.
You got to go.
You eat. You work from home.
Okay,
I can't come home to a full course meal.
This is leftover that I had from last night.
But I'm saying I can't come home to a full course meal. What we married for? What we married for?
I'm not your mama. I'm your wife.
Insult.
Your dishes clean, your clothes clean, you always got them clean clothes when you go to work, don't you?
I ain't talking about my clothes.
Can you stop recording me?
I can't come home to a full course meal. Working all these long goddamn hours, I can't come home to a full course meal.
Which means he's done it before.
I just knew I was gonna come home and have some food on the goddamn stove.
Oh, goddamn.
And now you playing,
So
man.
mad.
You playing. You playing.
On your way home.
Well, you playing. What the hell we get married for? You been doing it for like 2 or 3 months, man. What is it? I can't get no food when I come to the house.
She been doing this for 2 or 3 months?
Okay, so here, this is what I gather.
What?
Is it done? Okay, this is what I gather. The first comment that came out of her mouth was something about your raggedy cousin.
Yes. and he confirmed Chris's point that he's been dealing with this for 2-3 months. But go ahead.
Yeah. So meaning it wasn't always like that. Something happened, something switched, and this woman is tired. And she did that on purpose. She knew that he likes meals when he comes home. So she's standing in the kitchen eating, because he probably comes through the back door in the kitchen, and she's standing there eating pizza on purpose, knowing that he's gonna be upset. That was a total petty move. Number one, is she right? No, she's not, because this is a marriage. And
Thank you.
if he's
God,
working,
appreciate you.
let me finish now. If he's working and he is paying the bills, you need to respect that man. Whether you're being petty or not, or whatever he's done, you still made a commitment to him and that family and to yourself and your union. So therefore, you need to put everything to a side and knowing that this man is working and he is still doing what he got to do to make sure that everything is put in line for this family. If you didn't want to cook a hot meal, that's fine. But you could at least have the man a sandwich, something in the refrigerator or something or in the microwave. You know what? Yeah, babe, it's in there. Heat it up yourself. Go in the room, shut the door, light a candle. I don't know. But
Okay.
I don't believe that being petty to a point to where he has to come home and he's complaining about, eating. Number one thing your man should never be complaining about, whether it's your boyfriend, your fiance, your husband. He shouldn't be complaining about a meal, not from his woman. That's the last thing. A meal, and that's part of his needs being met. It's not all about sex. It's not all about, being sexual or keeping it sexy. If you are doing what you need to do in certain areas.
Okay. I'm getting some.
See what happens when you let Professor Marvelous speak.
Area, a man will look at you in a completely different light, and he'll let like 1 or 2 times slide. But if you're continuously just like not respecting him, respecting the household, and respecting your union, of course he's going to be upset. Of course he's going to be, in this case, I'm recording you. It's been 3 months now. Okay, there's 2 sides to every story. We don't know why she's been acting like that. Maybe he hasn't been coming straight home from work, and she's tired of cooking the meal, and the meal is getting cold because he's out with cousin. We don't know.
I like her.
Yeah. I had to laugh because I am the cousin that will feed my male cousins. They already know. On your way to work, on your way home, come get you a meal. Come eat. My cousin was just here yesterday eating. So I'm like, don't disrespect the cousin. No, she looking out. She just looking out.
No, and that's not a problem.
Yeah, but I do agree with you though, Professor Marvelette. Like that's one thing that he shouldn't complain about. And although my husband and I have different dietary needs, I'm trying to find different ways to incorporate what I can eat into what he can eat so we can cross barriers. So he's not, oh, I'm hungry and I'm just sitting here starving. It's always, hey, you're not hungry yet? Do you want me to make you something? No, I'm not going to eat it. It's going to sit there if you make it now. Maybe in a few minutes, like finding those middle ground meals that might be something easy for you, even if you are fed up. Maybe you make a piece of chicken and you make one of them bag salads. Oh, I just made you chicken salad. You want it to be healthy, right? You still prepared dinner. You know what I mean? You still put some thought and effort to it, but it is wholly disrespectful for you to be eating that pizza in front of his face. Talking about, you should have went to your cousin's house.
Raggedy cousin.
It's raggedy. It's funny to me because I know people like that. Like, you're so raggedy, girl, but don't do that, y'all. Don't do that to your man. You
Professor
on
Cheryl. Professor Cheryl is
Happy.
perturbed. Some Professor Cheryl's a little pissed off right now, y'all.
I'm not pissed off. It's just that, you know, we are taking this snippet, you know, of a video, and obviously there's, I believe it was Professor Marvelette said, you know, there's other stuff going on, you know, and we don't know the backstory. We don't know what happened. We don't know what unresolved issues there may be. We don't know what's been going on. It's not like he said, you know, I said this, we had this talk last week, or, you know, I told you this the other day. You know, it's been going on for a few months, but we don't know what it is. And it also, you know, the fact that he pulled out a camera and started recording it, you know, is immediately going to put her on her defenses. So we don't know what the situation was before the camera got pulled out. We don't know what happened. And granted, I'm not trying to make excuses for her or excuses for the situation. I'm just saying, you know, there's a lot of stuff. We can go on and on with our, you know, ideas on what caused or what created the whole scenario, but we really don't know. Should she be cooking? Shannon, one thing that I did notice that you said when you were talking about your parents is that you said, you know, I never saw my mother in the grocery store. So even though your dad may not have cooked dinner, he was still contributing to that meal. You know, there was a big part of him and his contribution, because when you take in the fact that I got to go to the grocery store, then I got to cook, then I got to clean, it's a whole thing, you know, it's a whole, and then, you know, you don't want the processed food, so then you're talking about cooking a lot of stuff from scratch or cooking it like fresh, and that's a, you know, it's a big thing. It's a long process.
So let me say, I think if my mother would have been a stay-at-home wife and she sold, you know, weaves on her Instagram page, he wouldn't have went grocery shopping. But she was a 9 to 5 woman as well, so I think that was a happy medium. In this situation here, he pays everything. He works all day. She don't work. She stays at home and she's chilling, and she's eating pizza from the night before.
She was chilling. She was working. She's working.
She works from home. He said that she works from home.
Yeah, I know, but that ain't working.
Yeah, but we don't know if she's working from home, like as far as like literally laptop
for somebody.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. And she could be fucking a customer service representative for American Express, wearing a bonnet all day. I know how that works. Let's not act. I'm an entrepreneur.
They watch her computer all day.
I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. I know how it works, y'all. Don't do that. I know how working home. I know what she does at home. So I ain't comparing her to my mom. Here's the thing, though. Let's talk about working women. No, we're not gonna make excuses for that bullshit. I'm not doing that. And I know what working home. I know what it looks like. I know how it works. You ain't that busy.
But not every job.
Not most of them.
And even if you are that busy, if you truly are taking care of your home, you are setting time aside to prep your week out. To be honest, like if you know that what your schedule is, you know that you're working these hours, you know he's working these hours, you know you have the kids here or whatever the case is. So you know that you can only grocery shop on Tuesday. So, or you know that you and him are not going to be home these particular times of the hours. So on Sunday you need to meal prep and have those meals ready, because you know you're not going to be able to cook or whatever the case is. But that's my preference, you know. But I'm just saying that there is time to make sure that something is ready on a daily basis, even if you're meal prepping, even if you have to do these schedules. Like, we're all grown.
Yeah, half my staff work at home. Yeah. I distribute laptops. Look, y'all know. I know. So listen, here's the thing.
That video, it's no excuses for it. We just saying that there's a reason why she's acted like that. It's a background story to it.
But here's the question, and this is what I want to hear from Professor Happy and Professor Cheryl. Let's talk about the working woman of 2022, not the work at home woman, not the customer service rep for Visa, MasterCard, and American Express that when they route the phone calls to your headset and you sitting in the living room watching soap operas. Let's talk about the working woman, the woman that has to go out, and then we could wrap the show up here. Because the thing is, a lot of young ladies are listening to you guys and they need this game. We're the ticking across the screen is husbands need to eat, right? And why don't women want to cook these days? Is it fair for men, Professor Cheryl and Professor Happy, for a man to expect his woman to prepare his meal when she's out working as many hours as he is? When she has an 8-hour job and a boss in an employee parking lot, in a cubicle, in a time clock, in a damn break room, just like he do at his job. Is it a situation where so many men today are asking their women to work like him, so she could bring in some money like him, but then he hungry and he wants her to, after her hard day at work and driving through traffic and almost getting in a couple accidents and finally getting home, she's supposed to also make food for him too and the family? What's your thoughts on that? Happy and then Cheryl.
I think that I grew up in a 2-parent household and both of my parents worked. My mom is a dentist and a professor, and my dad is an architect, right? So there was a lot of working going on. There was a lot of everything going on. There's a lot of moving pieces. My mom did not cook every day. We always had food. And I think that it is very difficult to expect a person to have the energy required to cook fresh food every day and work. Do I think that it's impossible? No. And do I think that we have to, when we have families, we're talking about wives, when we have families, we do have to learn how to manage our time in ways that serve the family, right? So people have schedules. Your man got to go to work. You got to go to work. Your kids got to go to school. They got to go to their after school activities. And everybody has to eat. Okay. So there has to be, that's why the piece about the tone was less important to me in this video, more so than the overall message of what was happening, which is
you did say that right off the rip. I apologize.
That wasn't as important to me as the fact that these are two people that are married to each other, regardless of how they're communicating right now in front of us in this specific instance. The issue was less about the tone. Although it was a secondary issue, it was definitely an issue, but it was secondary to the real issue. The main issue was, hey, I just was at work for 13 hours outside of the home. You were inside of the home, and I came home and there was no food. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no food for me to eat. And that was not right. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how you slice it and dice it. And I don't care how much work she was doing at home. I don't care if the laundry between the two of them took all day and she had to, I really don't even know what you could have done. I just don't think that that's equity, right? And I believe in equity. So because she was working from home, and he was outside of the home working a long shift, she should have found a way to make sure that man had some food when he came home. That's just my belief. She did not prioritize it for whatever reason. I don't know. We don't know. We don't know what has happened in their relationship, what led up to this point. She didn't prioritize it. But going back to my original point, when you are in a relationship, you have to understand when you listen, life. Health and well-being is very important. The health and well-being of you and everybody that you are charged to care for is very important. If you are the woman of the house, it should be important for you that your man eats and that he eats well, not just eats McDonald's on the way home after working for 13 hours. I don't think that that's care. I don't think that that's service. I don't think that, I mean, if that's the case, like he said, he said it, what am I married for? If I should have went and stopped and got some fast food on the way back to the crib, that's what we all do. The reason we desire partnership is to create equity in our lives, and so that you can provide for me what I cannot do. So I think the main issue, or not, forget issue. If you're thinking about being a wife, you have to think about the aspect of service to your family. You have to
Service.
serve. That is your role. That is all about role. But specifically as a wife, you have to serve the person in front of you just like your husband has to serve you. If I've been at home all day, I'm gonna make sure that there's food when my man comes home, simply because we do all have to eat. And if he's been working for 13 hours, baby, like lovingly, you should want him to come home to a meal. You should want to make everything at home a little more smooth because he's been outside, and you don't want him to bring outside inside. You want him to be able to leave that outside and come home to peace. You want him to be able to come home to clarity, and you want him to be able to go out and do the same shit he did today, tomorrow. Okay. So if that means that I need to feed you so that you feel strong enough to go out into the world tomorrow and bring that shit home again so we can make sure all the bills are paid, baby, I'm going to feed you. We have to understand that we are in service to the people that we choose to be in relationship with. And the way that you serve a person is by making sure that they have the provisions necessary for them to be their best self, so that they don't come in. I wish a man would come in my house recording me and talking to me like that. I don't care who he is. Okay. The reason a man won't, though, is because I don't give you that.
There you go.
I'm not going to give you the reason.
You
will never embarrass me like that. Okay. Like talk about how we was raised. You ain't embarrassing me, child. Like, no, absolutely not. You're not going to talk to me like that, because I don't come to you deserving to be talked to like that. First of all. So that's why the tone is less important, and the message, let's not lose the message in the madness. The reality is that if you are married, you need to be in service to the partner that you are married to. And there is reciprocal energy that comes with that. He pays the bills. He takes care of everything inside the home so that you don't have to monetarily, or I'm sorry, he takes care of everything so that monetarily you don't have to do anything. Make his job easier. So in whatever ways that is for you. Don't be talking about you ain't that man mama, you his wife. He knows, baby. He knows. He ain't married his mama. He married a woman that was supposed to take the place of everybody else, that is supposed to help him be of service to the world in whatever way that is. So I just think that the video, I really wanted to make the point that it was less about the tone. The tone was important. It was secondary to the conversation, though. The real issue at the root of all of that is, hey, this man just went and served your family by working outside of the home for 13-hour shifts. I'm sorry. I used to work 12-hour shifts at a certain point in my life. That shit ain't easy. Okay. So a 13-hour shift is not easy. It don't matter what you're doing. If you sitting there doing nothing, it's not easy to be outside your home for 13 hours doing anything. Okay. So once you come home, I don't want to deal with your 13-hour day. I want you to relax. I want you to eat. I want you to bathe. And I want you to do whatever you need to do to mentally prepare for whatever is next. Whether that be the next, you taking care of the kids, getting through the next day, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? I'll land there.
Professor Cheryl, the working woman of 2022, not the women of 1972, but the working women of 2022, the executives, the managers, the supervisors, the women that's out there in the morning and doesn't see the home until night. Should young men that want to marry these women, expect those women to also cook for him today?
Well, I think it's important to understand, again, priorities. And if that's a priority that he has, and he wants a home-cooked meal every day, then perhaps, if her responsibilities and her expectations at work, prevent that from happening. Maybe he's, trying to date the wrong person. Maybe he needs someone who's more available. It just depends on what their priorities are. If her priority is work and his priority is, I want you to take care of the home, then that sounds like a recipe for disaster. So having two people that are on the same wavelength and understand each other's needs, and they are willing to prioritize one another and serve one another, then you know, that's like the foundation. That needs to be the foundation for any relationship, any marriage. Being communicative and expressing your priorities, and making sure that the other person understands, you know, your priorities.
Cool. Professor Marvelette, Professor Aisha.
Cook?
Oh, they cook what?
I said, should that be a priority? It just depends on the household.
Got you. Professor Marvelette, Professor Aisha, and then we're gonna wrap it up with Chris and DB. Professor Marvelette, Professor Aisha, the young ladies are out there, they're curious. Right now they're Uber Eats. They got all kind of points on they Postmates app and shit. Right? They got a hell of a history and shit. It's Uber Eats, it's have Denny's deliver, they having Chick-fil-A delivered, it's easy. And they're working. But here's the thing, she wants to be married. But you ladies are teaching them to be wives. I know we know that they want to be married. So what do you tell the woman that's watching this show now or watching the replay? Professor Marvelette and then Professor Aisha, what do you tell that young lady when she meets a man that wants her to cook, but she is currently used to eating out or having takeout or having the food delivered, and she doesn't really cook much, even for herself? What do you tell her, Professor Marvelette?
I would tell her,
because her mother didn't teach her.
Right. No, and I get that. And here's the thing. I married at 22. I was married for 10 years. When I married, I didn't know how to cook. I knew simple stuff. I did not know how to cook. But I knew that was part of my quote unquote job as a wife. Because once again, that's how I was taught. That's how I was raised. When my husband comes home, when my man comes home, there should be a hot meal. I was taught that there's two things. Your man shouldn't leave the house horny, and he shouldn't, when he comes home, he should have a meal.
Wow.
But if I'm talking to the younger women of today that wants to be a wife, and let's say you don't know how to cook, it's a lot of things that we don't know how to do. But if we are inspiring to be that, like in our profession, you know, we take certain classes to get certain certificates to move up in this company or to get, you know, a higher pay raise or whatever. It depends on what type of wife you want to be to your husband. What you're willing and what you won't will you not be willing to do. So whether your husband is asking for these meals or not, every person wants to eat. A man is not going to come home and be mad and say, "Why'd you cook today?" That's not going to be the case. So it all depends on what type of wife that you're willing to be or you are inspired to be to your husband. So you take the responsibility, and even if it's not a requirement of him, sometimes he's going to want a home cooked meal. And for example, if you are agreeing with what the woman did in the video, then expect your man to go ahead and turn right back out that door and go down the street to Shay. Because guess what? Shay cooked that night.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So you can go ahead and have that or try to accept those.
She sent him a photo of the plate. She was like, "Come get this."
Stupid. You can accept these new age ways, but in reality, even with a young man, he's still a man. He's still a man. He still want to come home to a home cooked meal. He wants, whether he's saying it or not, when a man gets married, whether he's young or old, he has an idea of his wife taking care of certain responsibilities in the house. Just like a woman has an idea of her husband or her man taking care of certain responsibilities in the house. And we expect as adults for those partners to live up to those expectations. So if you have to take a cooking class, if you have to, go online and watch a couple of cooking videos and go step by step, do it, not even if it's for you. I mean, do it for him, because this is the man that you love. This is the man that you vowed to. This is the person that you know, told in front of the world, if you had a wedding or whatever the case is, that I devout myself to this man. So make him happy. When he's happy, he's going to make you happy. When you do things like that for your husband or for your man, he's going to return, do things for you that you're not even asking for. Because the thing is, pay attention. Men pay attention to things that women don't see. He knows that you're looking at that bag. He's been hearing you saying to your girlfriend on the phone, like, girl, I want to, whatever the case is or whatever. He's putting that in the back of his head. But because of how men think, he's not going to tell you, oh, baby, I'm working on this and I'm working
that bag. Yeah.
Right. No.
But it might just pop up because I was eating good this week.
Exactly. So for women, all guys see, we women goes off of action. So if you want to see your man do things that he's supposed to do for you, do things that you're supposed to do for him without saying it. That's it.
Professor Aisha, what do you tell the young ones? What do you tell those new neophytes? Those young, what do you tell them young swords that want to get married? They want to marry the noobs. The deltas want to marry the noobs.
Listen. I tell them a whole lot of things, but that's a side note. That's the side thing I'm gonna tell everybody else. Because my nails gonna get the real deal, okay? No, but what I would really say, number one is, ladies, whether you're, young professional, you didn't learn how to cook or whatever, learn how to cook. It's just essential. It's an essential skill that you need to have to take care of yourself and your family. I just can't stress that enough. There is too much online and available to us for free. Recipes, TikToks to follow, Instagrams to follow, Facebooks, things that are out there, blogs where people are teaching you how to do something. It's an essential skill to have for your life, period. I think that if you're dependent on fast food every day, you're just not building a healthy lifestyle for yourself. But communication is key. Communicate with your spouse, because I understand that we're saying cook every day and women cook every day, but communicate with your spouse. I had to communicate with mine. He don't want American cooking every day. That's just plain and simple. Things he doesn't, everything that I cook doesn't taste good to him. Plain and simple. He's like, it's just not. So I just have a conversation with him and ask, like, hey, what are we doing for dinner tonight? Does this sound good to you? What about this? And then we have that conversation. It might be, hey, I wanted to go out for a drive tonight and go grab something. And I'm like, okay, I'm on board with that. I won't cook anything, because that prevents me from being upset, food from being wasted. And now I'm feeling bitter because I didn't cook and you wanted to go out. No, communicate with your spouse, communicate their expectations before you guys get married. I knew my husband's expectations were Caribbean meals, and I let him know, hey, baby, listen, you might not get those for a few years. I got to learn.
You said that before you got married?
I did. I said, I don't know how to make that. So if you're willing to teach me, I'm willing to learn.
So you let him know before you jumped the broom what he was getting himself into.
Oh, I had to.
So that he cannot later on say, hey, what's going on? Why you don't this? Why you don't that? You can be like, no. You knew the job was dangerous when you took it.
Yeah. And I remind him of that sometimes. I didn't lie to you. I say that all the time. Hey, I didn't lie to you. He'll be like, well, but still, okay, but still, listen, baby, I told you multiple times. It's not new.
I have one thing to say, if you're finished.
Wait, Aisha, we can't hear you. Did you unplug your mic?
No, I accidentally hit mute. My bad, y'all.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
wrap up what you're saying.
I absolutely, whether, I can joke about it or not, it may not be a fresh cooked meal, but it's going to be a hot meal. I do definitely stand by that. So if your lifestyle causes you to be outside and working, make foods on the weekends that are remixable. I'm into remixing meals. Make that, rice and chicken tonight that's going to turn into stir fry on Tuesday because you have something with some fresh vegetables. Make it easy for yourself so it doesn't feel like a chore. I think a lot of times we talk about modern women not feeling like it or not feeling good. Don't make cooking a chore. Make it easy for yourself. When you go to the grocery store, pre-cut those bell peppers and onions and throw them in the freezer. So midweek it's convenient. You know what I mean? Or on Sunday nights, it's convenient to meal prep in large amounts and kind of set certain things to the side. It is essential to feed your family and to keep them healthy. And so whether that looks like meal prepping in the beginning, remixing meals during the week, in the beginning of the week, remixing meals during the week, or, maybe you guys do have to have a communication on Thursday that says, yeah, I'm not cooking today, baby. Listen, but I'll have that Uber Eats on the table fresh and on a plate for you.
So you said the alternative is you're not gonna not eat. You're
not gonna not eat. You're not gonna starve. I'm not gonna send you back outside to your cousin's house, even though my cousins come to mine. I'm not sending you outside to eat. So, whatever it looks like,
That's what we're definitely not doing. We definitely ain't sending him back outside to go eat.
Back outside, bro. Like, girl, listen, you don't send him to
somebody got a plate.
He might not.
He done start talking mess. I done told him he can sleep on the couch. Now you mad because you
might go left instead of right. You might go left instead of right. That's right. You say I may not cook, but you're not gonna be hungry. Gotcha. All right.
Ain't nobody sleeping on no couch, man.
Go ahead,
Can I,
Professor Marvelette, go ahead and wrap it up and then throw it to Professor Darrell.
I have one last thing to say. For the young modern women that are adapting this attitude of when they're in relationships saying that I'm not going to be or I don't need to do wifey duties, so to speak, and when you're in a relationship.
Oh, prior to marriage, okay?
Yes, please dismiss, in my opinion, please dismiss that way of thinking. Because here's the thing. If you are looking to be married someday, get the practice. Get the practice in. Be that to who you're dating. Because if you're dating, you're supposed to be dating for a reason anyway. So you're dating someone or you're in a relationship with someone thinking that it will lead to marriage anyway. So why say, hey, I'm not going to do these wifey duties if you want this man to marry you?
Yeah, but Marvelette, he got to buy the cow if he want the milk, right? Ain't that the growing thing? Don't do it for him. He ain't put a ring on it. If you want it, you should have put a ring on it, right?
Well, here's the thing.
For your milk.
Where's the cow going to stay? You need a farm first, right? Where's the cow going to stay? You need a farm first before you buy the cow, before you can milk the cow. So create that environment, create that foundation so he can say, you know what? Damn, this farm needs a fucking cow. Okay. But I mean, I'm funny, but I'm just saying.
I understand it. I understand.
Dismiss that way of thinking if you truly want to be married, if you truly want to attract your husband, because that's what a man looks for in a woman is a nurturing environment. He wants to know that, he's being cared for and loved and she's thinking of him before he's thinking of himself.
Got you. That one thing I teach people, I teach men and women, is that dating exclusively should be indistinguishable from marriage. If I don't want to do all of this stuff before I get married. No. Do everything that you think you need to do before you get married. But men give me pushback. What you want me to provide and protect for a woman that ain't my wife? Yes. If you want to get married, if you are in an exclusive relationship, brothers, you should be indistinguishable from being a husband. Ladies, if you want to get married, you should be if y'all just fucking, this doesn't apply. If y'all just kind of meeting, just talking, and y'all, you guys are multi-dating and all that, no, this doesn't apply. But if you are in an exclusive relationship and it is like and you introduce a family member and say that's my woman, or that's my man, then it should be indistinguishable. But that's a whole different topic for later. Professor Darrell.
Hold on, before Professor Darrell, I just want to say one.
Oh, go ahead, Professor Happy. This is your show.
I'm sorry, Professor Darrell. I don't mean to cut you off. Just real quick. I think I thought about this while somebody was talking about how also what if you're thinking about being a wife, you want to be the best woman that you can be, because what you bring to a marriage is that femininity. If it's a heterosexual marriage, right, you're bringing something to this man that without you he would not have. There is cooking is science. If you don't cook, or if you're not interested in cooking, I would implore you to become interested in it, not just for the health and well-being of your family, but also because there are certain principles of femininity that are embedded in learning to cook, in the process of cooking. There is timing, there's chemistry, there's so many different things that go into the process of cooking itself, that if you don't take the time to intentionally learn how to do those things, you won't have those principles inside of you. Don't just say, oh, I don't like to cook because the modern man just he just want to get the milk, or what. I don't even know what the modern man, what they say,
Right,
but
cliche.
it's not about somebody else. It's not even about it. If we really want to look at it from the foundation, it really ain't about him to begin with. It's about you and what you bring to this life. You are a creator as a woman, as a wife specifically. You are the creator that, or the co-creator to the man that you choose to marry. And so you want to be able to bring these certain principles. There are certain things that cooking and cleaning, and unfortunately, I just got to say it. There's certain things, there's certain principles that go into doing those things and maintaining those things and doing them regularly that are actually add to the feminine energy that you must learn. Well, maybe people feel like they don't need to learn it. Personally, I feel that you should learn these lessons. You need to learn these lessons for yourself so that you can show up for your husband and your family the best way that you can. Time management is a huge thing in life if you want to be successful. Now, everybody has their own different definitions of success, but if you want to be successful, you have to learn how to manage your time. You have to learn how to add certain seasonings together. You have to learn how to be able to put different things together to create whatever it is that you're trying to create. So there are certain principles that are intrinsic in cooking that you should learn. And if you don't know how, don't be closed off to something for superficial reasons. Learn why it's important and really get the lessons that you get from learning those things. That way, when you show up, it's not about your man. I mean, at the end of the day, for me, I'm single right now. I'ma eat straight up, and I'ma eat good. I'ma eat the best food possible. You understand me? So that's me by myself. You think I'm gonna come into the door? It ain't got nothing to do with you, sir. Like, I love you, and I'm gonna make sure that my man has the best food possible as well. But the reason being is because I show up for me like that. I'ma make sure happy food is like I'm eating good over here. Okay. That means that no matter what, when I walk into that relationship with that man, baby, you gonna eat food, because number one, I don't want you getting sick and we spending all this time in the hospital, shorty. Like, no, like we got stuff to do. Okay. I can't be spending all this time and this money. Also, eating out is expensive. Asian is expensive. You wasting money. If you in a partnership, learn how that's another thing, that a skill that comes with cooking. Learning how to grocery shop and budget your money properly. That is something that as a wife, you should want to come into the door with. You know, there's certain things that you need to develop. Wife school, get those skills.
Mm-hmm.
I spend around $1,200 a month on fast
Too much
food.
money a month, you said? Huh? Too much?
Professor Daryl.
1,200.
Yes, sir. Professor Shannon, I got two rules that I live by. As a man, I am going to prepare my field without, and then afterwards I'm gonna build my house. That means I'm properly vetted my woman, and this is the type of woman I want in my life. After that part, I am going to be the epitome of that man that's working, so I should be eating. That being said, as a leader, I should be able to cultivate my relationship like you cultivated a garden. I saw you put something up on your IG or about as far as working in the garden. I don't know what it was, but it hit me deep, and I definitely reposted that. With that being said, as a man, if your woman, your wife, is willing to learn how to cook, you got two options. Teach her how, and if you get in the bag, send her to culinary school. Send her to culinary school so you can tell her exactly this is how I want to eat, and she will go learn and learn well, because she's prepared. She's gonna come back with her skills, the requisite skills to feed you and keep you healthy, like Professor Happy was saying. So I think what happens and what gets lost in translation is, like with the video we saw today, we're just talking at each other, but we're not talking to each other to get understanding and trying to find a happy medium to get to the point where everybody is happy. So I will land with this. You can't complain about something that you haven't spoken to. And a lot of times in relationships,
that's a bar.
Every time, and this is what I found in relationships, we expect others to be like us. Whatever's in me, I expect you to have that in you. And that's not necessarily the case, because we were all raised differently and we all come from different demographics and different locations. So if you want that in your life, cultivate it.
That's right.
And I'll land there.
My man, Professor Chris, final thoughts.
Join us in 15 minutes for Ask a Black Man Anything on YouTube. Good night.
That's what's up. Listen, I want to just let everybody know something. We're gonna wrap it up here. I appreciate everybody being here, watching the show. But I want to point out one thing. Marvelette, Professor Marvelette, is currently a chef. She has a catering company where she gets paid big dollars. I've seen invoices, and she prepares the entire meal. I've seen her spend an entire day preparing stuff for corporate events. She's done weddings. She's done all kind of stuff, right? What stuck out to me today, though, is Marvy said she didn't know how to cook when she got married. Now, that was a surprise to me. I'm thinking Marvelette grew up in the kitchen. From age 8, was in there making spaghetti. To hear that she didn't even know how to cook when she got married, you know what that tells me, ladies and gentlemen? And for her to be a chef today, that's her Instagram name, by the way, everybody. Chef Marvy. Everybody go follow her. You'll see her plates and dishes on her page. Now, here's what's important. A woman that didn't know how to cook when she got married is now a chef, meaning because she went and learned, she fell in love with something that she didn't even know was in her.
Yeah.
For those young ladies out there that are not cooking because it's convenient, because you're busy, because you're working on your career and all that other kind of stuff, you might be missing out on something that you could potentially will fall in love with. Just a hobby. Or in Marvelette's case, a profession. Simply because you didn't even give it a shot. Marvy also said it best. She said, if you want success, learn. Women will fly across the country to go to corporate training for her job. Women will fly across the country from LA to Chicago to go to corporate training for her job. But y'all won't take a culinary class like DB just said? Make it make sense. You won't go to corporate training for success of your marriage, but you'll go to corporate training for the success for your boss that will fire you and not think twice about replacing you if you happen to raise your voice or stick a piece of pizza in his face. You won't stick that piece of pizza in your boss's face. Talking about, well, stop off at your raggedy other employee. No, you gonna hop to it for him. But your husband get home and say, hey, babe, the fuck? And all of a sudden he get talk back. And you won't go take a class for him. You won't go to corporate training for him. But you'll fly across the country for somebody else. Oh, because they're paying you a paycheck? Then what the hell is paying all the bills is? That's a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're not thinking straight. Ladies, I hope you learned something today. Remember, Satan attacked relationships as his very first attack in the book of Genesis. Please subscribe to the channel. Share the video, like the video, tell YouTube that this video is worth watching. And I know that you know somebody that needs to watch this show. You know somebody who won't cook. Sit down and force them to watch this episode, please. Don't just plan your wedding, ladies. Plan your entire marriage. And being married isn't enough. First, you have to be a wife. I appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week. Same bat channel, same bat time. Right here at Wife School, where you guys can learn some stuff.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Another great show.
Yeah, you guys do a great show. Chef Marvy, the people want to know. The people want to know, where do you cook at? They said, what state are you in?
Oh, I'm here in California.
In California, y'all.
In LA?
3 people ask.
Yes, in LA. Yeah.
In LA. You in LA.
Chef Marvy on Instagram.